All right, everyone. So I have finally caught up on season 5, including the finale, and I just wanted to make one video to sort of just talk about it. And I do have a very important announcement at the end of this video, so definitely, stay tuned to that if you're interested in hearing about the future of this channel. Now, overall, season 5, I did feel like was a pretty solid season. They actually introduced plot, which was really interesting and nice to see, although it did feel a little bit rushed considering that they decided to push all the plot for season 5 and then like sprinkle it in like in the other 4 seasons, when really this probably should have been spread out between all 5 seasons, to be honest. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like it felt kind of choppy this season just because they were like, oh, here's all these good ideas that, we could have implemented earlier, but we sort of had to throw them all in now. And I do feel like this season had some of the worst animation. Maybe last season was a little bit worse. Considering the more recent episodes, like the later ones, those ones were pretty good, and especially the last few, like they had some pretty good animation in those. But especially the beginning, I feel like, definitely was lacking in the animation department. I really wish they just had maintained the season 1 level of quality, but, it is what it is. And I felt like, the episodes leading up to the finale were pretty solid. They definitely had some unique writing and good ideas in them. My biggest gripe with this season is by far the ending. I was not a fan of how this ended. And I do want to hear your guys' opinion on this as well, because I haven't looked like on Twitter or anywhere. Like, I don't know what people think of this season, okay? And I know I'm going to have like a bunch of people in the comments and probably messaging me on social media who will want to discuss it. But to be honest, I didn't care for the season 5 finale. Specifically the ending. Like, leading up to the ending, yeah, it was pretty good. And then like the animation, yeah, that was pretty good. There was just a few things wrong that I didn't care for in the season finale. For one, I thought it was kind of weird that they incorporated the superheroes from the other specials. Like, yes, it makes sense because it is a global event that occurred. Although, for people who hadn't seen the specials, you didn't have to see it, but it definitely added to the context. But other than that, it just felt weird because they were never really mentioned, aside from like maybe like 1 or 2 times. In the entire series, seasons 1 through 5, the only time they were ever brought up was really in the specials, which was focused on them. So it was kind of weird to just see them like all of a sudden showing up in the finale like, hey, we were here the whole time. Like, no, you weren't. Where did you come from? Like, yes, I get it. It makes sense for the story, but in terms of wrapping up the season finale about Ladybug and Cat Noir, it feels kind of weird to have the superheroes from the other specials play a relatively big role in saving the world. Maybe that's just me, but I felt like this finale was supposed to be the culmination of Ladybug and Cat Noir trying to defeat Hawkmoth, right? But instead, it was like Ladybug trying to defeat Hawkmoth while the other superheroes are not that weren't even like relevant to seasons 1 through 5, right? They're here like sort of supporting you, and then it's just like Cat Noir's nowhere to be seen. Like, this series is supposed to be about you two, right? And it's just like it sort of felt all over the place. But you know what? Fine, whatever. I don't care. They can include the superheroes. That's perfectly fine. It makes sense story-wise because, again, this was a global event. So that's not the biggest issue I have. The bigger issue that I have with this finale is that Gabriel was the good guy, okay? Gabriel, like, this episode proved that Ladybug and Cat Noir were truly the evil people throughout seasons 1 through 5. Ultimately, Gabriel sacrificed himself for the betterment of the world. Like, I don't know if it was through fighting them. Like, maybe if he had gotten and won in season 1, maybe there would have been a more evil twist to it. But, like, it feels like Ladybug and Cat Noir were keeping him from, creating this perfect world without him, but everything good. Like, it just felt weird. And, we saw in the episode that there was a statue made of him and he was celebrated as a hero. He was called the hero of the day, not Ladybug or Cat Noir. It was Gabriel Agreste. Not only does that not make sense from the perspective of like, sure, he saved the world, I guess, but he was the one who ruined it in the first place, right? You don't get credit, I think, for if you ruin something and you fix it, you don't get to be called a hero, right? You just, did what you should have done and fixed it. And he didn't necessarily make the world a better place, like, because he did all those evil things and now the world is just ultimately better now that he's gone. You know, the world would have ended up like this regardless of if he had been a villain or not. You know, he was just the one who happened to get credit for it, and it just happened to turn out in this timeline of events. You know, like, it just, yeah. So ultimately, if Gabriel is seen as this ultimate hero and, you know, the whole world praises him for like, oh, thank you so much for tormenting our lives for the past, you know, few years and for, you know, like causing us huge like nightmares and stuff for a few days and like brainwashing and hypnotizing all of us, you know, thanks so much for that because now our lives are great. Like, you do realize that if he had just not shown up in the first place, you know, your lives would have been great, you know, just by default, you know, because he wouldn't have ruined it in the first place. So I think it's a little bit whack that they're celebrating this, you know, like, he shouldn't be called a hero. Now, the next thing with this point is, like I said, the whole series, the entire series, starting from the first episode of season 1, was Ladybug and Cat Noir trying to defeat Hawkmoth and reclaim his Miraculous, right? Because it was not in the right hands. This ending goes against that entire thing. Not in the fact that they didn't collect the Miraculous, like that's fine, that makes sense, you know, it sets up for a whole nother few seasons, whatever. But in the fact that Ladybug and Cat Noir lost, and Cat Noir wasn't even anywhere to be seen in the finale. You know, aside from maybe the beginning, I don't remember when it started or ended. But like, Cat Noir wasn't here. You know, it was supposed to be Cat Noir and Ladybug against the world, right? Against Hawkmoth. You know, the end of season 4, you know, they lost everything. They were supposed to work together to defeat him and get the Miraculous back. Cat Noir didn't show up once, okay? That was all Ladybug. And not only that, Ladybug lost. You know, like, she believed that Gabriel would, like, come through and, like, you know, come up with a solution. And then he betrayed her, and he still was seen as a hero because I guess he decided to make things right. Having Hawkmoth win the entire battle, like, over the past 5 seasons, really makes it seem like there was no point to this show at all. At least for, like, a majority of the episodes, right? Because the episodes where, you know, Hawkmoth tries to get the Miraculous, and he fails, right? But if he's just gonna get it at the end and the outcome doesn't change, like, what's the point in extending it so long, right? There were so many filler episodes, and just to have it like, you know, oh, he's gone, he revived Emily, and it's all good. Like, that, it feels like the lazy way out. Like, it feels like it's just a magic eraser. Just erase everything. Like, it didn't feel like there was much character growth. You know, it's just things are all better now. Right? They didn't have to recover from, you know, this devastating battle between Monarch and Ladybug and Cat Noir. Nope. Gabriel is just like, okay, let me fix things. Let me bring back Emily. And, you know, the past 5 years of pain. Well, I equate 5 years because 5 seasons, but it's really only been a few. Like, let's just erase this and make everything go back to normal. Plus Emily minus me. Like, really? That feels so lazy because it doesn't, like, there was no growth. There's no hardship. Like, the past season has been difficult, but now it's just like, wipe it all away. Everyone's good now. Hooray. Like, it feels so lazy. And it's like the whole build up for season 5 was this big finale and all of this cool character growth. You know, we saw a lot of that, or at least it seemed like it was building up to that this season and increasingly in the other seasons. Like, it just feels so lazy. Was this a terrible ending to season 5? No. I mean, it wasn't like the worst thing. It wasn't like season 3 bad, but it definitely wasn't the best that they could have done. Like, throughout season 5, we've seen some pretty banger episodes, and then for them to just like erase it, like, whoop-de-doo, Miraculous Ladybug, everything gets reverted back to normal. Like that's exactly what they did for this finale. Was like, you know, I don't know what to do. Let's just, you know, magic erase it away. Like, come on. But yes, by far the worst finale is still season 3, but I would say this one's close up there too. And I don't even think I didn't care as much for season 4 finale either. Their finales, they don't know how to wrap things up. Let me tell you, just like, they don't know how to make change. They don't know how to wrap things up. Like, everything just, they just fail with it. I don't know what it is. They just can't do it right. And don't get me wrong, the season 4 finale was pretty good. Just like, it felt a little sloppy in my opinion. And I'd have to go back and rewatch it. But I do think I remember like thinking like they could have done better. but it was still pretty good. Like, I enjoyed it, and it was one of the better ones. It just felt like all too much at once. Like, slow down there. Like, all of this change is a lot just going in. Like, this should have happened over the course of the time, you know? But I don't know. Maybe these are just all hot takes. You'll have to let me know down in the comments below, because I do want to hear your guys' thoughts, because I've sort of been out of the loop. You know, maybe everyone loved it and I'm just like the odd one out or whatever. But yeah, let me know what you think. Now, sort of to diverge here, I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about as far as like the finale goes. I want to talk about the future of this channel, because I'm sure if you are a fan of me and this channel, I'm sure you've noticed there haven't been any uploads. You know, at least I haven't uploaded in 2 months. You know, this is the first upload in 2 months. And then also just they've been very like sporadic and just not consistent at all, especially considering the finale of season 5. Like, all of that hype was there. How could I miss out on that opportunity to milk the views? But there's a few things, right? One, I've been extremely busy. I haven't had as much time, you know, just due to personal stuff to devote to making YouTube videos. Another thing is just burnout. You know, I've been doing this for like 5 years, coming up on 6, I think. So, you know, I've been doing it nonstop. Well, you know, at least minus the past like half a year. But yeah, I did this nonstop for, you know, like 5 years. And yeah, you know, it takes a toll on you when you do that for a while. And don't get me wrong, I've loved it. I've really enjoyed your guys' support, and I'm super grateful to, you know, have what I have and have had the opportunities that I've had. I've just been a little burnt out and sort of need a bit of a break. But then the last and probably the biggest thing, you know, relating to why I haven't wanted to make videos on Miraculous is simply because of all of the leaks. The leaks sort of just ruined everything for me, because my whole channel was focused around talking about news with new episodes, creating theories about what's going to happen, and, you know, analyzing the episodes and being like, yeah, that was pretty cool. However, when we had the super big leaks for the entirety of season 5, including a lot of storyboards and just like everything, it felt like everything was leaked there. You know, there wasn't anything to theorize anymore, because people who chose, you know, to look at the leaks had the answers to basically everything. So the fandom was split up into 2 factions. You know, you had the fandom members that read everything and, you know, figured out all of the storyline. And then you had the members who were desperately trying to stay away from it. I was one of the ones who was like, well, I don't want to ruin the experience for myself, so I'm going to just, you know, continue making content as I have been. And, you know, just try to ignore it. But it was too big. It divided the fandom too much. It wasn't just like 10%. It felt like it was, you know, like 30 to 40%, which is not an insignificant amount of the fan base. And maybe I didn't see as much of it because on my channel I promoted, you know, trying to stay faithful. But, you know, I don't really know what the actual numbers are. That's just what I'm guesstimating based on, you know, viewership and, you know, other factors. But without fail, I would, you know, make a video about a new trailer, theorizing, oh, this could be this could be this, like what I would normally do. And then, you know, I'd get a bunch of people in the comments being like, well, actually, I saw the leaks. That was wrong. Here's what it actually is. It's like, okay, cool. Thank you. You know, thanks for ruining the experience for all of us. So really, the leaks just made me super unmotivated, because what's the point in theorizing? What's the point in talking about news when you already know the outcome of the whole story? You know, like it just didn't seem like fun to me, and it sort of just killed my motivation and passion for Miraculous. Like, that's just as simple as it is. And I don't even think going into season 6 or 7, like, I don't even think I'm going to gain that back. You know, I think it gave me so much of a sour taste in my mouth that I can't do it. So I'm not sure if I'll ever make another Miraculous video again. I might make one talking about the movie, because I haven't seen that yet, but that's supposed to come out very soon, isn't it? So I might make a video about that. When is that? Is that? I think that's the end of July. Yeah, that's in like a few weeks. But yeah, I might make a video on that, but I might be done with Miraculous, which is very hard for me to say, because, you know, my past, you know, few years have been devoted to Miraculous and making Miraculous content. And, you know, I know that, you know, I was one of the first like bigger people to start, you know, making Miraculous content. And it's really sad to, you know, let that go and to, you know, sort of move on from it. And I'm never going to forget, and I'm always going to love and look back on this time, you know, with great, you know, joy and, excitement, and I'm never gonna stop loving Miraculous. I just don't love making content for it anymore. There was a tweet by Chikara on YouTube that said essentially that YouTubers were the one who suffered the most from the leaks. And, I couldn't agree more with what he had said there. Just because, it just ruined everything, And I do feel like I try to not watch other people's videos because I don't want to like ruin the experience for myself and like have them influence my ideas and my theories and whatnot. But I do feel like I saw less and less, like, even of the other bigger creators. Like, I felt like their volume of videos also decreased. Maybe not to the same level as mine, but they definitely had a decrease. And I don't know, exactly what it was, but my guess is it was something similar to what I had experienced. And not only that, like On Entertainment, who sort of like manages like the YouTube side of things for Miraculous and Zag, they started really harping down on my channel as far as like trying to get my videos blocked. So that was also a big motivator. Essentially just being like, yeah, you can't post this video because it used too much clips or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool, thank you. So what was the point of this video if I can't even upload it? So yeah, it's just a culmination of everything, I feel like. Now, this isn't meant to be like a sad end to the video. And it's not supposed to be, a sad, ending to this channel by any means. I don't know what the future holds for me. I have other interests and other things that I want to try and learn. And I'm definitely not done with YouTube. I love making YouTube videos. If you're looking to see more content from me in the near future, here's my new channel that I'm going to try to upload a little bit more. That's going to focus more on anime and like just like Japanese more style content. So if you're into that, you can go check me out there, but please don't like talk about Miraculous or stuff because that channel's not meant for that. So that's where I'm going to be focusing a lot more of just my own, personal YouTube energy on. And I honestly have no idea, if I'll ever make another video on this channel. Like I said, I do want to sort of watch the Miraculous movie and make a video on that, just sort of like talking about like, hey, saw the Miraculous movie, it was pretty cool, haha. So I will probably do that. And you may see a video from me every so often on this channel. No promises, but yeah, this channel's dying. Like, I've been losing 1,000 subs like per month essentially. So yeah, I like, even when I haven't been uploading, it's like, oh, I lost another 50 subs today, all in a hard days of work. It's like, I'm not even making videos anymore. Why are you guys leaving? So yeah. And I also do want to mention, for those of you who use MiraculousLadybugNews.com, my website, that will be shutting down as well because it does not make enough money to sustain itself, and it's not really relevant anymore. Plus, I don't like uploading it or like updating it anymore. So I guess the only way that it would stay alive is if someone bought it out. But I don't feel like there's not a whole lot of value in that, especially since I think the main core of the Phantom is going to leave after season 5 because it's going to completely shift and who knows what's going to happen. So yeah, that website will likely be shutting down in a few months, just whenever, my subscriptions to the web services shut down. So just letting you know, it didn't, I just shut it down. Nothing happened to it. As a final word, I just want to say thank you for all of the support. It really means a lot to me to have, especially the people who came back consistently for every video. You really mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for, making my life a little brighter. It means a lot. I feel like I'm making this a lot more dramatic than it needs to be, but yeah. But yeah, I think that's really it for this video. If you have any questions for me personally, just drop them in the comments and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Like as far as like the channel or any questions about that. But yeah, that's gonna be for me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you sometime, I guess. Goodbye.